At the age of 24, I was arrested in a crack cocaine conspiracy. I eventually went to trial, was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison. I did 17 years, 5 months, 21 days. Donald Trump passed the First Step Act. She had to go on with her life. So that's what happened. I mean, I go to prison, she goes on with her life, and it's not an easy thing to deal with. I was married to her, I loved her, I cared about her, but she went on with her life. Do you want me to talk about the other part?
Uh, if you, yeah, if you're all right.
So I do 18 years, or I do 17 years, 5 months, and 21 days, something like that. I think that's it. I get out. My wife, my ex-wife, right? We end up reconnecting. We end up talking, and we reconnect. And I've only been home 27 months. We reconnect, we get remarried, and we just had two little twin boys. They're 7 months old. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. I loved her, she loved me. We were reconnected, and things ended up working out. Doesn't always happen that way, but
Yeah,
when she left and she had to go on with her life, man, it was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to deal with. Just as hard as getting the 40 years because I loved her, I cared about her. So all them young brothers that got a girl out there and you got kids, you love your girl. If you're in the street, you better believe that eventually, man, it's probably not going to work out, man.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
let that be a jewel, man.
yeah. And so we got to think of it. Prisons aren't meant to keep your family together. All right. Prisons, the justice system, that shit is counteractive to having a family. You only get a certain amount of time on the phone. You only get a certain amount of time for visits. 99.9% of jails are in the middle of nowhere. You have to, for your family to come visit you, they have to abide by the rules of the prison. No underwire in their bra, no metal in their shoes, which you don't realize, the majority of shoes have that shit in it. So once you go to jail, it's 9 out of 10 chances, and especially if you got some time, things ain't gonna work out, and I think when I found that out about your story, I was like, oh, that's dope. That y'all was able to come back and get back together and sort of continue your life. I think that's dope, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So I forgot to ask you this, but prior to going to jail, were you using any drugs or anything like that?
No, man, I never used drugs. I was a drug dealer, right?
Mhm.
I think that stemmed from me seeing the people in my neighborhood, seeing my father.
Yeah.
It was just something that I didn't do. My sister's the same way, we never don't drink, don't smoke, never smoked weed before. And when I tell people that, they're like, "What?
Yeah.
Never. I never even drank coffee, bro."
Yeah.
I was more money focused.
Yeah.
Like I said, I grew up kind of poor, bro. There was a time when I had two pairs of jeans,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to be poor no more. I didn't want to live that life no more. I wanted a way out, but I just picked the wrong way of getting out. And eventually I paid for it with, nearly 18 years of my life.
Yeah.
But no drugs, man.
All right. And now going to jail, when you're in the penitentiary, what was that first? Because I'm sure there was many when you was like, man, I fucked up. Look at what I just seen. Look at what just happened. What was that? Take me back, walk me in your shoes that first time that you had that situation and was like, man, I fucked up.
I mean, really, the first time was when I walked in that courtroom, right? And I was like, wow. When it really hit me, when I got sentenced to 40 years, man, I was just devastated, man. Heartbroken. What's up,
Yeah.
buddy? I was heartbroken, man. And then when I end up going to prison, they sent me to Big Sandy, one of the most dangerous prisons in the country at that time. Still extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Hands down, state prisons, federal prisons, a dangerous place. I'm there, and as soon as I get there, man, they're like, "Hey, grab your mattress. We're walking." They hit the deuces. That means they hit the little walkie-talkie. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Get on the wall. We get on the wall. I see this white dude come by on a stretcher, all beat up, bloodied up. See a couple dudes coming behind him. They give me the nod, and I know that this shit's real. I get to my unit, and one of the dudes from New York slaps the CO, slaps the cop,
Mhm.
and all the New York dudes surround the cop.
Yeah.
And the cop says, "Man, what did I do? What happened? What did I do?" And I'm like, wow, the cops don't have no control here. I know I'm coming from county jails where the cops got
Mhm.
control, right? Um, and I'm just like, yeah, this thing's about to get real. And, I've seen people killed in prison. I've seen people stabbed.
Mhm.
I've been stabbed in prison over $40. Someone owed me $40. He owed me 45, wanted to argue with me, and he stabbed me. The dude was a serial killer out of Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
Stabs me in the back, almost hits me in the spine. So, there have been many times where I've said, man, this is real. Seen a dude get killed in my unit. They're playing poker. He's drunk. He pretends he has a knife. He lifts up his shirt and says, I'll put that knife in you.
Huh.
And the other dude that's running the poker table,
Got a knife.
he's got a knife, man. He jumps up. He starts stabbing the dude. And the dude says, man, don't kill me.
Yeah.
And this dude says, man, it's too late for that. And he
Yep.
stabbed him. And the wild thing is this kid had, I believe he had 8 years when he went in, sold some dope to someone. They overdosed. He got another 20 years. So he started with 8. Now he's at 28. And then he kills this dude and then they give him life. So he started with 8 years and left the he's never leaving the penitentiary, man.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of people like that. I think at every prison, you're going to meet numerous people that came to jail with X amount of years and find themselves, with a whole lot more than they came with.
For sure.
So what I want you to get into the law work and stuff when you started going to prison and what you started doing with your time. What was it that got you to the point, for the viewers that don't watch your channel? What was it that got you to that point when you was like, all right, I'm no longer just going to be on prison time and exist. I'm going to sort of use this time to better myself and do good for myself and others.
In the beginning, as soon as I got arrested, I'm like, man, I got to learn about my case. This shit's for real. So I was always on the law stuff, right?
Mhm.
And it was kind of like natural for me. But I also was living a prison life. So I was teeter-tottering on both sides. I didn't do other people's legal work at the time. I was, into mischief, into whatever was going on in the prison. Just not really a good dude at the time. And I've done some bad things to people, which I deeply regret. But there came a turning point. I think this happens with everybody, where something clicks up here, right? And you're like, you mature. It's like that. One day you're like this, and the next day you're like, nah, man.
Life.
It wasn't even a thing that just happened progressively. It was like, this
Yeah.
is it. I better get my life together, right? I did have this dude, man, from North Carolina. He told me, say, hey, man, he said, they're going to bring parole back, right? That we're in USP league. He's like, they're going to bring parole back. What are you going to do when they do that? You're going to take them a bunch of shots. You got caught with a knife. You've been selling heroin in prison. You're going to tell the parole board all that stuff, or you're going to get your life together. And I'm like, man, it sunk in a little bit, but I kind of brushed him off. He's like, look, man, come to this class I'm teaching. Leaders breed leaders. So I end up going to the class. It's kind of in one ear and out the other. But after I go to that class, man, I think it was about a week later where I'm like, boom, that's when things started to change. But I'm still in a maximum security prison. So I'm like, I still have to live this prison life, but I want to get out of prison. And it just happened in one day. And then eventually I make it to an FCI, I make it to a medium security prison. That's when I really start to change my life. That's when I start going to education. I start teaching GED classes down there. I start teaching that same class that dude told me to come to. We ended up on the bus together years later, going to an FCI. And I get a job in education. And I just start bettering myself. I start learning the law. And for real, man, I started getting people out of prison. I got over 100 people out of prison. I know that your viewers might be like, what?
Yeah.
But I have, man. It's all over my Facebook, all over my YouTube channel. I've done some big cases. I've done Russell Simmons' adopted son's case, won his 2255. The rapper Little Baby, I did his real father's case. That dude that died is not his real father. I did his case. I've done some big cases, man, and I win, man. Consistent winner. I won 4 cases this week, and I know it's crazy. All 4 of them had murders. 2 people are back for hearings. One guy's getting resentenced probably to 20 years, and the other guy, they took his life down to 40, and we got a little more work to do, and hopefully we're gonna get the 40 down to about 20.
Nice. First of all, congratulations, pat on the back, all that shit are in order. And certain people ain't gonna understand this. But when we grow up and have a certain type of DNA in us, there's those of us that no matter what we do, we understand like something, just like you said, it clicks that, oh shit, all right, I could work hard at anything and get good at anything, get very good at anything.
No doubt.
And those of us that have that hustler's mentality where we be like, no, I'm going to make it. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to figure it out. You know, I'll figure it out along the way. For you to do that, dope, man. I think that's extremely, extremely good and important for people to see. You know what I mean? That there's people that see that and don't even realize, damn, I could do, if he could do that, I could do that. You know,
I definitely appreciate you, man. I like doing the things that I do.
yeah, I think that's dope, man. I think it's very inspirational for people to see. A lot of times, you know, especially in the penitentiary, people give up hope. You lose hope quick, especially if you don't have no family, you don't have nobody telling you, yo, you're this, you're that, you know, you lose hope. A lot of us are dealing with a lot of, you know, mental health and self-esteem issues and shit like that. And to see somebody, you could be like, all right, if he could do it, I could do it, you know?
No doubt.
So what has your life been like since being released?
Well, you know, like I said earlier, I reconnected with my wife, but when I first got out, man, I was nervous. I was afraid, had a hard time walking across the street. I slept with a knife. I actually lived out in the suburbs in a nice place, but I would hear every little thing. I would jump up. And I used to think in prison, you know, I've heard stories about people like, you know, I'm not going to be like the dudes on Shawshank Redemption. I ain't going to have no PTSD. But
Yeah.
really, I did, man. I've been through some things in prison. I've been stabbed, like I said, been hit with rocks and a net bag from behind. Wasn't always a nice dude. So I did have a little PTSD, but eventually it got better, man. I reconnected with my wife. I started a paralegal and prison consultant firm, Freedom Fighters. I do exceptionally well. Like I said, I continue to win cases.
Yeah.
Started the YouTube channel to save kids from life imprisonment and premature death in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the premature death in the streets thing, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? We got kids out here killing kids every single day, man. In my city the other day, they just killed a cop, and we've had murders every single day since that day. So that's kind of what the mission is, to maybe say, look, these are the two roads. Which one are you going to choose? You want to be like me and be miserable and go to prison and, you know, lose the best years of your life? I lost half of my 20s, all of my 30s, and a few years on my 40s. You don't have to be that dude, man. And, you know, it's time to make the right choices. And like you said, you know, if you're a hustler, you're a hustler. You don't have to hustle drugs. Maybe you're hustling shoes or T-shirts or hot dogs, or you got a taco cart, you know, something that they might not have in your city. Bring something different there, man, because you have that hustle mentality. You're just hustling the wrong things.
Yeah, exactly. And it's you know, it's I always, you know, I always like to tell people it's never easy, but it's always worth it. I love, you know, I get pulled over by the cop. The only thing I got to worry about is my tints. If he wants to be an asshole, and maybe I was speeding, they could search my car. Anything I have in there is 100%. I'm legal to have. If I have a gun, best believe I got a gun license. If I got some marijuana, best believe I have medical marijuana. You know, I don't have to worry about anything. Don't mean I don't get nervous. You know, I still get nervous, but it's just a good feeling to know that I look around my house and nothing in here that I have got is from, you know, from doing nothing wrong. It's all from hard work. And it's a beautiful feeling. Do you have that where you be like, you know, you just sit back and take everything in and be like, damn, you know, this is completely different than the life I used to live?
100%, man. The other day I put my audio book on my channel. You know, it was the last 5 chapters of my book. I had 40 years. My book was 40 chapters, and I'm up there listening to it. I had to leave upstairs and walk down in the basement into my office because I got a little bit teary-eyed, you know. And it was because I was reflecting on the fact that I'm not supposed to be here, right? They counted me out. And now I have a life. I have a wife. I have kids. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And, you know, I'm living my best life, man. I get to go to concerts now. And I went to the ocean for the 4th of July. These are things that I get to experience, man. And I'm just happy to be able to do that.
Yeah. I'm happy for you, brother. I don't, you know, I think we meet some of the most intelligent, some of the smartest, some of the most motivational, some of the best people in the penitentiary, unfortunately, you know. And then there's a whole bunch of slime balls too, but you meet some good people and you be like, damn, you know, I remember looking the yard and talking to people and be like, damn, this motherfucker was out on the street. He'd be a millionaire. He'd be a CEO, CFO, you know, I'd be like, he has whatever it is, he has it, you know, and you see that in so many people, and so many people don't get to put those wheels, you know, to the ground and get to experience that life. So to see you doing that, like I said, is inspirational, motivational. And I know, you know, that there's so many people that look at you and be like, damn, if he could do it, I could do it, you know.
No
So
doubt.
I thank you for doing that, man. That's a big deal. Anything, plug them, your YouTube channel, your audio book, anything you would like the viewers to know about you that you got going on, let them know, brother.
Okay. So yeah, I got my book. That's it behind me over there. Blood on the Razor Wire. It's a violent book at some points because that's the life that we lived. People can go on Amazon, read the first 3 chapters for free. I promise you won't be disappointed. You can get an autographed copy from me by hitting us up on the email at freedomfighterspc@gmail.com, or you can get it on Amazon. The YouTube channel is the same name, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Check us out if you like what we're doing. Hit that subscribe button. The audio book should be coming out soon. People can buy the audiobook directly from me. I had an editor that was supposed to be putting it up, and but had a little issues with that, but hopefully that'll be up too soon. But man, definitely appreciate you, appreciate what you're doing. I see you when you go out in the streets, and I think that's what's up, man. And I appreciate your viewers, man. If you like what we're doing, man, check us out.
Yep. So y'all heard it. Buy the book straight from the man. He gave you the email. You can find that on Amazon, but we all know how that game goes. Amazon gets a portion of that money. You hit this man straight up, you get an autographed copy straight from his hands. So anybody that's going to order it, hit that man up. I'm going to link everything in the description of this video, his channel, his email, everything. So y'all have, and check out the brother's channel. I'm telling you, once you start watching it and you start consuming it, you're gonna be like, okay, this is different than other prison channels. There's always that reflection to be like, all right, this is what could happen, this is what's gonna happen, and this is where you stand to be if you make these type of choices. I thank you, brother, and I truly appreciate you. I'm gonna click off so it stops recording, but I still want to rap to you real quick.
Okay.
All right. All right, I think that did it.